we got a Thursday start, which is fantastic. Nebraska baseball may have found something with a rotation. Ravi is like Denny Downer, like wet blanket guy, so he won't let me get excited because he says at this point I should know who this Nebraska baseball
No, they've
team
won
is.
several series in a row. They kind of getting it together.
Oh, because the Miller North guy is on, you're being remotely open. When it was just me, Bruntz, I was like Homer, not I mean like Homer.
No, it's been
Yeah.
like a month ago before they'd won a series in quite a while. So they've done what they've needed to do through this stretch of the schedule.
Although Coach Bold himself hit me with the fire extinguisher the other day. He's like, "Well, at this point, we kind of know who we are," and I was like, "Damn it, Coach!"
You were wanting him to say that they were gonna catch fire again, right?
He turned a corner.
And he was so matter of fact. I was like, "Oh boy, just get a good draw with this stupid pod system because maybe somebody will screw up their rotation because it seems to be more complicated than solving pi." Like, do you like the setup and does it fit where this team is?
The pod setup itself, I mean, I think it at least allows you, if you do get hot, that you don't have to play a ton of games.
How would you like to be the one when won the regular season title? And it's like, oh, hey, here's this new format. Doesn't so much matter.
I mean, I believe the tiebreaker to get out of the pods is your initial seed. So if you're not a top 4 seed, you're screwed. Like you basically have to go 2-0, or assume you have to go 2-0. And it's interesting, like, we'll see how the strategy works, but, like, I mean, if you're Nebraska and let's say you go in as a 7 seed, like you're the 7th seed and you got to go 2-0 to get out of the pods, it changes your strategy a little bit because, I mean, if you got to go 2-0, I mean, are you saving your third best arm for whatever third game might be out there, or are you throwing him on Sunday? And it's also, I mean, they have the schedules there, so if you're a particular seed when you play those first 2 games. But the way the schedule is set up, I mean, you could potentially bring your top guy back later in the weekend, which, I mean, depending on where you fall, it's an interesting it's an interesting set. It brings in a different strategy than the way you would normally line up a tournament. The flip side to that too, like, Michigan State's got a damn good Friday night guy who, went out to Southern California, beat USC. I mean, he's an elite arm. I mean, can you imagine being a top 4 seed and you got to face that guy right out of the gates? In what's most likely a must-win game. I mean, that's a tall order. So it's a different setup, and I for one would be praying for dry weather during that whole weekend. Otherwise, it's going to be just absolutely craziness.
Bruntz, have you gotten an explanation on why they did this? Like, was someone clamoring that normal brackets don't work? Like, I don't understand why this is happening.
Well, they wanted to expand it, and they wanted to let more teams in, and there's basically like a break-even point where you can only have so many teams in without doing the pod stuff. And I think the other reason too was to give teams, a little bit more of an opportunity to potentially play their way in, because you're not having to, you basically can, play 4 games and win the tournament. I mean, I think that was the thinking. I think there was also a little bit of like, let's kind of let's try this and see how it goes. Because the ACC does it. The Big 12 had some form of pods way back in the day. I don't remember, the specifics of it or how it lines up with what the Big 10's doing, but I don't know. I think there's a very real chance that you probably look at how this year goes and kind of adjust on the fly to see if it works or not.
What do you like with the tinkering of the rotation? I mean, you can kind of get in a rhythm. We knew that Nebraska, when Walsh was going well, would go with Walsh and then Christo, and now you add a different sort of dimension with, and it's worked a couple of weekends in a row with the rotation and how it's being set. You finally won the first 2 in a series. Is it sustainable this late? Is it portable? Do you like it?
Well, you had to do something. I mean, the sample size had kind of grown with Walsh and not trending very well on that Friday night. I mean, Nebraska, to its credit, has won a lot of series in ways that you should probably not win a lot of series on the stretch.
Unconventional at its finest.
And, at least what you have now, I mean, they would have taken probably 5 good innings of Timmerman last week against Michigan, but to get 7, I mean, that was like perfect. You couldn't have drawn it up any better. And I think just mentality-wise, I mean, he sets the tone for the weekend pretty well in a way that you want your Friday night guy to do. You need some depth out of that guy, and he'll get in there and compete, and that's kind of what you want. And you mentioned kind of Nebraska's basically just been pairing their relievers with guys that throw kind of opposite the way that the starter does, and you can still do that on Fridays. I mean, they having Walsh follow Timmerman, you're getting a lefty following a righty. Michigan had a lot of trouble with that adjustment. I mean, when you've got a lefty coming in throwing I think he threw like a 71 mile an hour breaking pitch or something like that, following up Timmerman that was in the low 90s. I mean, that's something you got to prepare for, and it's tough to prepare for. So they can do that, but I think just making that change, it was a good one. I mean, to a man over there, I don't think that there's anybody that doesn't believe they can win when Tucker's on the mound. I mean, they have a ton of confidence in him.
Bruntz, if you look at this Nebraska team and you say, hey, let's say I give you the assumption that they make a run at the Big Ten tournament, whatever that means to you, what does that look like? Like, how does that happen?
Well, you get good starting pitching. That's been they had all guys go five innings last weekend, which is I think the first time that's happened this year, which is kind of crazy to say. So you need those guys to be good. I think the other key, you just need some timely hitting. I mean, the reality is you've got a couple guys that are limited or out at the wrong time. I mean, you've got Ty Stone, who got hit on the wrist. He's questionable. To see what they can get out of him. Max Butenbach is still fighting an illness that he just can't kick and is out again this weekend. I mean, those are your, ideally your third and fourth hitters in your lineup. So how are you going to produce runs? I mean, are you going to run a little bit more? Are you going to play small ball? How are you going to make that happen? So, I mean, key guys that you kind of need to get hot. You need Overbeek to stay where he's been. You need Sanderson to hit, and you need Swanson to hit. Those are your 3 guys that have to matter. So just basically scraping together enough runs and kind of continuing the trend that you're pitching on right now.
So Bruntz, I mean, anywhere from, 5th is probably not likely. So somewhere between 6 and 9, 7 and 9. You got some scenarios in which you could be out of this thing. Are you thinking a just win tonight mentality, or like one, you should be good. But don't listen, I looked, I'm like, well, shoot, man. Who's UCLA playing? They're in the top 8 seed. They're going to hammer Northwestern. Let's get them out of here. Ohio State sucks. Like, I did find myself after having played.
Scoreboard watching already? The game's haven't started yet, Damon.
And it's way out of character too, because normally as a coach, I'm just like, hey man, just control what you can control. But the range, in which they could fall is what kind of prompted me to do it. I mean, 6, 7, 8, 9. Does it really matter for you?
No, I mean, as we sit here, there's so many scenarios that, I started going through a lot of them the other day, and I was like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm just going to wait till, Thursday night. At least
today, yeah. At least
after Thursday night, you'll have a much better idea. Tonight, you'll have a much better idea of kind of how things shape up. Certainly tomorrow, after tomorrow's games. Does it matter where they fall? No, you just want to get in. I mean, I think that's just kind of the way it is. I mean, I think, Nebraska just wants to get in there. This is going to be a tooth and nail series, though. I mean, Purdue still has a chance to get into the tournament if they sweep and get some things that break in their favor. There's some history there, a lot of history there. We all know about the TARP stuff from a few years ago. Nebraska's ended their season last year, eliminated them from the Big Ten tournament discussion the year before that. So, these are familiar foes at this time of the season. So Nebraska's gonna have to show up and be ready to play. I mean, there's no question in my mind about that. And the seeding stuff will take care of itself. I mean, I think I'm reasonably confident that Nebraska should feel pretty comfortable if they can just get one this weekend. I mean, you mentioned UCLA and Northwestern. That's a key series for how this all kind of is going to play.
I'm pretty tickled that UCLA is playing for a potential top seed.
I mean,
their foot will be on the gas.
They're not going to have the scrubs in there just trying to get through that series. I mean, they're going to go in there and try to pound Northwestern. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, it's the thing that's so tough about the expanded conference. I mean, you're playing 10 conference series, but you're not seeing like half the conference every year. So I don't know. It's too bad that so much of the final standings are dictated by schedule. But I mean, I feel like in the offseason there's going to be a lot of politicking behind the scenes on that scheduling stuff. That's a really big deal.
How important do you think it is from an attendance standpoint? Obviously, it's been our backyard, that fans get a tutorial, right? It's because attendance is not. You know where I'm going with this, right? It's a crapshoot of when you're going to see your team potentially. Like, you don't really know. Do you just kind of hang out, or like how would you approach it?
As a fan?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, because attendance, I'm not sure when they were kind of putting this thing together. I get the teams in, but you want people to come see it too.
I haven't made it up to the big city much recently. Are there advertisements around town? Do you see that there's an event coming?
There's the one close to
I haven't seen
downtown,
it,
but
yeah.
No, it's not. You're not going to be going down 80 and see it on the old billboard.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. I mean,
But do you understand what I'm saying though? Like, if I want to go watch Iowa, I'm still in wait and see mode. Not me.
No, everybody. I mean, that's the thing. It's like Saturday night, you're going to get the schedule's going to come out, and you're going to have to, figure out how you're going to get to Omaha. All those fans from Ann Arbor are going to be panic buying flights from Detroit to Omaha to get there to see the Wolverines. So I don't know. I mean, it's funny though. Like, I mean, Nebraska, when they haven't been in it, the attendance has been rough, but my God, when they had it in like at Target Field some years, I mean, you had to talk really quiet in the dugouts, or else we could hear them up in the press box. That's how empty it was. So
I actually think this will be well attended by Nebraska fans, because I think Nebraska fans think Nebraska can win it.
Yeah. Well, and you guys know how things are. I mean, if they win the first one, and they start rolling a little bit, there's going to be. And if the weather's nice and it looks like it's going to be upper 70s next week, you might see some people working remotely that day,
trickling in,
working
remotely.
Yeah, that kind of caught me off guard.
Taking long lunches on downtown.
Yeah,